name is Lyte. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and you have just tuned into Lyte Talks. We're establishing health and maturity in our relational intelligence, spiritual maturity, and emotional wellness. And I'm just super glad that you tuned in. If you haven't already, subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell. So today we're going to be talking about, I was kind of struggling with this title, but can I help you? When looking at help in relationships, we're often dishing out help, receiving help, seeking help. And I wanted us to talk about that a little today in growing relational intelligence. Can I help you? Can I help you? I'm gonna say that again because they started banging outside. Stop the banging. The action of seriously. So I'm gonna start my video now. Are you gonna join me? Okay. So first, let's look at the definition of help. Yeah, I know you think you know, but let's go to Webster anyway. So help is considered to make things easier, to offer assistance, our resources, and the noun to help is the action of assistance or offering resources. But there's also the exclamation, which is the plea for help. Help me! Yeah, that's the exclamation. So that's what help is. But when we're considering in relationships, we have the questions of when do I help? Why do I help? How do I help? Where do I help? And if we're not considering how to answer these questions rightly, we can make some bluffs in the relationship or even attempt to help prematurely. But the focus of today's talk is going to be looking at when do I assess and evaluate when I shouldn't be helping? Yes, there's a time in which we shouldn't help. For instance, I love to look at the example of Christ and his ministry. He walked on this earth for 33 years, and I always look at what he did and also what he didn't do. So he didn't help everyone. Now, that might seem sacrilegious, but let's look at it scripturally. He healed, he rose people from the dead, he restored, he healed broken hearts, he gave the ability to see for those who are blind. But did he restore everyone's sight that was blind? Did he raise every dead person? That would have been kind of crazy if he did. But I began to ask myself, well, why? Why didn't he help every single person that was in need of help? And today, a lot of the insight that I received in the revelation was after listening to this sermon about a year ago from Pastor Dharius. He leads a church in New Jersey, based in New Jersey, but it's also in Florida, called Change Church. And I'm gonna link the sermon down below, but it talks about 5 people we can't help. And it really gave me insight and motivated today's talk. So I'm gonna definitely give credit where credit is due. He's an amazing leader and teacher around relationships and emotional health. The reason why I think that it's important to look at when we are not able, capable, or willing to help someone is because it has a direct impact on us. I mean, it could lead to frustration, resentment, anger, guilt, and the list goes on. So for us to consider when we're not able to help, it's because we're looking at healthy boundaries in relationships. Now, when I even reflect back, for me, I remember seasons or times when my husband would call me helpful Hannah. Now, trust me, it was not a compliment, unfortunately. But what he was saying when he would refer to me as helpful Hannah is he saw me expending myself, my resources, my time, my emotions in helping others that sometimes they didn't want to be helped. Yeah. And because I desired to help and I saw the need, I would prematurely at times attempt to help or intervene. So I don't want you guys to go through that, quite honestly. So if I had the ability to learn from those mistakes and then teach others, I want to definitely do that. So some important things to first know, like I was mentioning, the 5 people we can't help. So who are the people we cannot help? Number 1, people that do not think they need help. Yes, you know those people. Those people that would be coughing up a lung, for instance, and say that they're not sick and they're not going to the doctor, right? So people that do not think they need help, when we offer help to them, they're going to reject it. Number 2, people that know that they need help but don't want it. Yes. And it's not about good or bad, or that's not a place you need to be in, but it's just the truth of the matter. I can know that I need help, but maybe I don't want the help, and that might be a season of the I don't cares, but understanding that I'm not able to help a person in that place or that season of their life. And number 3, someone that wants help but doesn't want it from you. Yeah, sometimes we can become selective even in who we would receive from. I think of examples of like when my mom might be telling me some advice when I was younger or a teenager, and I didn't listen to her or even take in what she was saying. But if like an older cousin or an aunt would say the same thing to me, I would like eat it up, right? So the truth of the matter is, like, you're cute or whatever, but you're not everyone's cup of tea. So people might be more receptive to receiving that same help that you're willing to offer or have to give from others. And we have to be okay with that and accept that we're not able to help them. Number 4 are people that want help, but they're not ready. And I think oftentimes in relationships, we might see people at this place, right? Like they're pre-contemplative. They know that they need help. They want help possibly, but yet they're not ready as yet. And maybe eventually they will be, but understanding if they're not ready, everything that I dish out, everything that I pour out would be in vain because they're not ready to receive it. And number 5 are people that want the help but don't want to put in the work to get it. Now, I have to be honest, y'all. These type of people, I'm working on loving them. No, it could be really frustrating, right? I think of an analogy like if I were a personal trainer and this person came to the gym and said, I want 6-pack abs. And I'm like, okay, well, you got to cut out this, you got to do this workout routine or this regimen. And they were like, yeah, I want 6-pack abs, but I'm not going to do that. And I'm like, well, you're going to stay there with your flabby belly. Move on. No. But the idea that we have to be willing to put in the work when we want help. It's assistance. It's coming alongside. So that means that the other person that's going to help us is not going to do all the work for us. So going back to the list, if I identify that somebody wants help, they're ready, they want it from you, but yet they're not willing to put in the work, we can't help them, right? So we've identified these 5 people that we're not able to help, and you're probably like, well, Nikema, then what do I do then? You know, I love this person, I care about them, and they need help. Well, I'm going to talk about that too. Don't worry. First and foremost, I want us to think about not taking that person's current status of not being able to be helped by you personally, right? We might become guilty that they need help and we can't provide it. We might become frustrated with them because they're not receiving the help that they need. But we shouldn't take this personally, and we should have a place of compassion and forgiveness for others, where we're still able to be in right relationship and not hold a grudge against them or hard feelings. So that would be number one. But number two, stop helping. Yes, right? Like, I just identified that we're not able to help these people in these particular categories. So for you to continue to expend your resources, your time, your emotions, your gifts, yeah, that's just dumb. I don't mean to be harsh, but I want us to be able to acknowledge we cannot be the Holy Spirit in people's life. So when we're attempting to still interrupt all the warning signs that says that a person is not ready or willing to be helped, then we're attempting to, be the all-knowing, all-powerful, ever-present one, which, it's a little above your pay grade. So stop helping. Number three, this one is a little closer or dearer to my heart, which is don't give up on them. I think sometimes when we equate stop helping, we equate that with, Nikema, I can't just give up on them. This is my loved one, or they're struggling with drugs, or they're struggling with their mental health. We're not giving up on people, but what we are doing, which Pastor Dharius Daniel speaks so profoundly of in his sermon, is we're giving them up to God. We're giving them up to the one that has their heart in his hand. We don't have the ability to change people, but the Holy Spirit does. So when we're not giving up on them and we're giving them up to God, we're interceding, we're praying, we're standing in faith, we're believing, but yet we're handing them over to the one that can do exceedingly and above all we can even imagine. Number four, I want us to consider to having an open heart for change, right? Say if the person is not ready for help in one season, and then another season they do become ready and they come back to you. Be open to receive them. Be open to embrace them, right? Remembering how the prodigal son's father embraced him with a hug and a kiss and restored him to his rightful place. And last but not least, number five, begin to focus your resources, your giftings, your attention, and your time on those who you are called to help, who are willing, who are ready, who are able. This list of 5 people we cannot help is not a free pass to be selfish. We're called to help others. It's to be able to appropriate our time and our resources into whom God is calling us to use them with. So I think that it's very important for us to establish healthy boundaries in our relationships, whether they be with friends, families, our family, those who we're in relationship romantically, our spouse, even co-workers, or those that we're in ministry with, to be able to understand their purpose in relationship to you is what allows us to be able to be willing, able, and capable to help others. I hope this has been a blessing to you. If so, make sure that you like, comment, and share this video with someone. And I want to hear from you as well. Like, what have been the challenging areas with wanting to help a loved one? Share a comment down below. Love to keep the chats going, and make sure that you go forth and shine your light.